What's up, people? My name is Denny. I am an idiot. So, I am trying to draw, and I'm trying to animate a little cartoon character, and it's hard, but it's not, okay, here's the problem. I just don't want to start it, because it seems hard. So instead of the problem that I always have in my head when I'm making something is I can see the finished thing. I can see it in my head. And then I just immediately self-sabotage and I'm like, oh, that's gonna be too hard to make that, so I won't even start. And then nothing gets done. So what I'm gonna do for this video, nothing too crazy, but I am gonna talk about a walk cycle, which is part of the animation process, right? The actual how a person walks or whatever. It can say a lot about their character, right? So I've been learning a lot from this book, The Animator's Survival Kit, by Richard Williams. This is the guy who directed the animation for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So it's awesome. And I'm gonna be talking about page 106 and 107. This is the walk cycle. So I'm going to just take this over to the computer, and I'm gonna try to just draw a little walk cycle and do just a little tutorial about what this book is talking about, just so I can have something done and move in a direction. So thanks guys a lot, and I'll see you on the computer screen.
All right, so here we are inside of one of my most favorite drawing programs in all the land. It's called Clip Studio Paint, and it's awesome. You can do you can do normal drawings and stuff, but you can also do animation, which is pretty cool, and put stuff on cells, and then animate them over time and stuff. I'm still really new with it, and I'm learning as I go. But I really want to learn how to draw and how to animate. So it's a good program, and it's fairly inexpensive considering, and it's actually like a purchase. At least mine was. I think you can pay for a subscription thing, but the purchase price, it was $50 or something. So it was. I don't know if that's still the case, but anyway, it's cool. You should check it out. So we're gonna be talking about walk cycles here, and just to keep things as dead simple as I possibly can, I'm just using this little stick figure guy. In the past, I get all spun up in my head, and I think that I have to do this super professional, crazy ass tutorial. And by doing this, I'm just trying to teach myself stuff, instead of trying to have something very polished that looks good. There's this kind of rule that I have started to understand, that by teaching someone else something, you learn it a lot better, because you have to synthesize your ideas and what you're learning into something that you can then communicate to other people. It's a very powerful way to learn. So I recommend, if you're learning how to draw, just follow along, or go out and pick up a skill, and then just try to explain it to someone that that is willing to talk to you about it. So that's kind of what the point of these tutorials are, is for me, honestly, just to help myself learn and get out of my comfort zone a little bit. So for these walk cycles, basically what I'm gonna do, I have this little character here. I have the same guy over these 3 frames of animation. So I have it split up by a couple of frames, but on frame 1 he's over here, frame 5 he's in the middle, and then frame 9 he's over here. Or she, whatever, who gives a shit? And what my goal is to figure out what the feet are gonna do in these 3 positions. And this might not look might not look perfect. I might need to scoot the character a little further to scoot them closer together in each frame, so that it makes a little bit more sense. But the process is going to be exactly the same no matter what. So what this represents here, I've got 8 frames of animation down below. It goes from frame 1 to frame 9, and typically a normal walk cycle that you see covers 16 frames of animation. So that's 2/3 of a second if you're shooting in 24 frames a second. This is getting a little technical, a little quick, but for this drawing aspect of animation, it is kind of important to talk about it. So typically what I'm reading this book, The Animator's Survival Kit. It's awesome. Hold on, who's it by? Richard Williams, who was the guy, the director of animation for Who Framed Roger Rabbit. So he like knows what he's doing. And he breaks it down and says, okay, so if it's 16 frames of animation on average for like a normal walk cycle, if you cut that in half down to 8 frames, you're basically doing half of the cycle, and then you do the exact same thing for the other half of it, for the back half of it, to complete the full walk cycle. So this is 1/2 of a walk cycle we're gonna do here. But basically, what we're going to do is I'm just going to do the legs for right now, and I'm going to draw one leg in red and one leg in blue, just so we can see the difference in color. And it's going to be very, very simple. Very simple, because I'm not good at this, and I'm just, I'm learning as I go. So we're going to have these legs be in the first frame that you do. You put them in what's called the contact positions. So all this is the point, the kind of the widest, almost the widest point of your stance when everything is kind of fully touched down on the ground. And contact position means both of your legs are touching the ground. So there's my leg in red. Let's switch over to a nice blue color. That looks so good. I'm so good at this. The other leg in blue. And my legs are not good, but I don't care. And neither should you. Doesn't matter. What matters is just learning the moves with your hands, getting better at making shapes, and building up like the visual library in your brain. I'm actually gonna switch this a little bit to what the walk cycle is supposed to look like. So this would be the heel kind of striking down. So it's like this blue leg has just stepped out into this position. And it's not gonna look, stop saying it's not gonna look perfect, Denny. It's fine. Nobody cares. So basically what I'm gonna do for the last frame, I'm gonna switch over to this final frame, and I'm just gonna cross the feet essentially. So let's go back to a nice red color. And this time, this leg's gonna be out in front. This is the heel strike on the other foot as it swings through. And then back to my blue. It's more of a teal. Get it straight, Wetmore. In case you don't know, my last name's Wetmore, so that's why I said that. That was just part of my cool guy vernacular. Okay. And then the heel strike. This is like the foot has finished kind of pushing through that cycle there, and now it's going the other way. So I've got the legs are out this way, and then they're crossed. But the thing that's the same is that they're both in contact position, right? So we got feet on the ground here, we got feet on the ground here. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to the middle frame, and we're gonna figure out what those feet are doing in this middle position. And this is called the passing position. Sometimes it's broken out a little bit more terms, but just to keep it really simple, we're just gonna call this frame of animation the passing position. And what happens in the passing position is the body goes up, or especially the head goes up higher. Because we're lower here, this is gonna be a lot higher. That's gonna look freaking terrible. Let's just bring it down a little bit. Oops. Down just a skosh, so it doesn't look quite so insane. All right, so we got frame one, and then the head goes up a little bit. That's probably not enough now, but that's okay, we'll figure it out. And then the final frame, the legs are crossed. So one really cool thing about Clip Studio Paint is it's got this onion skin thing, so you can see what the last frames were that you drew. So then that can inform what you're doing in your current frame, which is really fun. It's a really nice way to just kind of visually see where you are, so you don't screw stuff up. Okay, so we've got contact position here, and now we need to figure out what that passing position is going to look like. So the body raises up a little bit. In fact, let's raise it up just a touch more. So I have room here just a little bit. Okay. So the body raises up a little bit, and then this leg here, this blue leg out here in front, is going to, as the body travels this direction, this leg is going to accept and like support the weight of this red leg as it swings through. So what we need to do is we need to essentially make this leg bear weight, and we want it to look like it's bearing weight while still being fairly strong. And then the other leg needs to swing through. That's really all that we have to do here. I'll just undo all this stuff. Okay, so blue leg needs to bear weight. So it's still in the back, obviously. That doesn't change. But now it's kind of like right under the center of mass. And then you just put your little foot in here, which for our purposes is a really, really good triangle. It's very, very good. It's high quality work I'm doing here. And then for this other leg, it needs to swing through. And typically, this would change depending on the type of walk cycle you're doing, but normally people pick their legs up just enough to not scrape the ground because we're lazy. God knows I'm freaking lazy. So maybe just to exaggerate a little bit, I'll put the kneecap like out here, and then the foot kind of up like this. And then this just kind of hangs down. Something like that. And then, so now we have that as it's like taking the weight, and now it's swinging through, and then it completes its motion here. So here it's swinging, and boom, now it lands. So now what we have is the very basics of a walk cycle. And what we could do if we wanted to is we could go in between here and we could add in more information, because right now if we played this back, it's just kind of hard to tell what's going on, because it's just there's just not enough information, so your eyes can't catch it really well. And plus I probably have these guys a little bit too far apart, but that's okay. That's how we're gonna leave it for this thing. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to speed up, and I'm gonna do a couple more drawings in the middle here, just to see if we can get that nice shape. And then that's it. So that's just a really basic walk cycle. Again, that's one half of the walk cycle. So after this, you would then go through and do the exact same thing, just in reverse, right? So now you have, now you need to bring the red leg here under weight as it moves through the frames, and then you do the exact same thing until you get all the way up to frame 16, and then you're done. That's one full walk cycle, and then the whole thing would just repeat. So that's it. I wanted to keep this kind of shorter than my last rambly mess of a video. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions, or you think I screwed it up, or you want to see other stuff, then let me know. But one cool thing that you can do is you can actually start to change once you have these basics in here, you can start to play with the characterization of this character using a walk cycle. And that, like, Disney does that really well, where they have characters imbued in their very walk with a lot of personality, and that makes your characters really pop. And that's the beauty of animation that you can't really do as much with live action. You can make the decisions about how you want your characters to walk, and that informs how they might give a performance. So anyway, thanks again for watching. I appreciate you all, and have a just a delightful day. So I'm gonna speed it up here, and this is the last I'm going to talk, and then we'll just do the walk cycle a couple times, and that'll be it. And
If you enjoyed what you saw here today, please consider subscribing down below. It's really the only way that I, feel any kind of accomplishment in my life. So, man, it's dark. Actually, you know what? Don't subscribe, because I clearly need a change of heart. Don't subscribe. Stop. You guys, stop subscribing. That was reverse psychology. You got me. But I got you. I got you. I tricked you into subscribing, I guess? This is stupid. Okay, bye.